Hello there. Part two of this week's comic book review videos. This one is all DC books. I did Marvel books and the Spirit in the last part. Next part's going to be indie books. But this part is DC, so let's hop into my DC pull this week, starting with Black Canary, issue number 4. And what this issue does, I'm pretty sure it's the end of the arc. Um, it's appropriately kind of like a nice badass ending. This is our title page, a very kind of 80s biker film sort of vibe going on with the font and having Dinah on a bike like this. Just such a badass image here. I kind of wish this was a spread and you didn't have all those other panels in the way, but just such a cool way to open the book. And we have her, of course, going after Ditto, who was kidnapped last issue by Maeve. And we get a lot of scenes with Maeve kind of kidnapping Ditto, and they make her out to be such a douche, and it's great. You spend a lot of this book with Maeve and Ditto, and she is just so unlikable. She takes us through a flashback to like kind of how she got to where she was when she was with the band, and everything kind of leading up to that. And she's such a diva, and she's so unlikable, and it's great. It's great having this character that's just so hateable. Like you really want to see her lose, and she's being contrasted with Ditto, who's really charming. And like we get the idea, we get the impression in this book that the only reason that Maeve kind of likes Ditto is because Ditto just echoes everything that she does back at her. So it's not that she likes Ditto, she just likes, herself in stereo, so to speak. But as many kind of douchey moments as she gets, Diana gets great moments. We start with that. Not Diana, Dinah has great moments. We start, of course, with that beautiful motorcycle kind of poster. It's very poster-esque. Then we get a nice kind of quick scuffle in a gas station with Dinah just effortlessly beating down this mugger. And more flashback with Maeve before we find out who ordered Maeve to kidnap Ditto. And then we get kind of the ending to the book after that. I'm not going to spoil who ordered Maeve to kidnap her, because it's kind of a cool reveal. It's kind of a cool character that they're introducing into this book. So don't want to spoil that. But yeah, really good issue. I'm really enjoying this book. Every issue, I kind of enjoy it more and more. This is kind of a villains issue. They're focused a lot on Maeve, and they make her just, again, so unlikable. And it's great. It really is really fun to read this book and to just gain increasing contempt for this character. And also, of course, seeing Dinah, kick some ass is always great too. So Black Canary is pretty fun book. Next up is Martian Manhunter, another book that I'm really enjoying. This issue is very action heavy, very much an action beat in the story, where last issue was more so kind of a mental beat. Still getting lots of Sandman vibes from this, with Martian Manhunter kind of recollecting pieces of himself, much like how the first arc of Sandman was Sandman regaining his tools to get himself back to full power. And this is that sort of thing. It's Martian Manhunter assembling pieces of himself to come back to full power so he can stop the Martians. And we get like, hints of what he can do, even at not full power, and that's really cool to see. So we have we cut to Pearl, the Dubai. There it is. The thief in Dubai. She turns out to be part of Manhunter, and we see her kind of access these powers. Manhunter is in her subconscious or whatever, telling her, okay, so you're Martian Manhunter, you have all these cool powers, you can make things just explode with your mind. And so we see, even split into multiple pieces, Manhunter is still an incredibly formidable threat against the White Martians. Um, and we then cut back to the chase with the ambulance and Mr. Biscuits and the FBI guy as they're escaping from the Martian Maneater. And what's great is they finally kind of connect Mr. Biscuits to the rest of the Manhunter kind of mythos. And I can't believe it took this long to realize. Mr. Biscuits is Martian Manhunter's love for Oreos. Um, so if you're new to the character, Martian Manhunter is canonically addicted to Oreos. Like something about his alien physiology makes Oreos like a drug to Martian Manhunter, and he is literally addicted. He will just eat them forever. And Biscuit is, British English for cookie. And so Mr. Biscuits wants cookies because it's the Oreo thing, and it's great how they tie that together. And I'm really surprised I didn't catch that earlier. That's a really fun reveal in this book. But we continue this really dynamic chase scene, and you really do feel the motion. This comic is great. The action in this comic is great at conveying a sense of speed and urgency as this ambulance is being chased by this monster. There's a fight happening on top of it. The Manhunter is slowly kind of relearning and regaining his powers through this chase. And different parts of him are doing at different paces. So Biscuits is kind of already pretty much Martian, while the FBI guy is kind of learning, okay, so I can make things incorporeal, and I can fly and stuff. And he's like learning all this as he's racing this ambulance down the highway. And it's just a really cool chase scene. Just really fun. It's a really fun book. Really kind of mental. It never loses that uncanniness, that kind of mental thing it's doing with psychic powers and all that. It's just a really cool, fun book. There's a part where Mr. Biscuits goes to Mars, and it may or may not be entirely in his head. It's just fun. This is a fun book. Aquaman makes an appearance at the end because this is fun. Why not? Just throw Aquaman in there because Aquaman's cool, dude. And then the end, the threat escalates at the end in a really cool way that I don't want to spoil. So that is Martian Manhunter. Just a really fun, enjoyable book. Yeah, really, really, really liking it. Next up is Robin, Son of Batman, issue 4. And it's starting to get formulaic at this point. So this book, like a lot of the other issues, starts off with a flashback to Robin and the Year of Blood, and we find out some terrible thing that Robin did before getting back to the present, where Robin tries to make up for his past sins. With this issue, it is kind of a reverse Indiana Jones. During the Year of Blood, Robin stole something from Alexandria, and now he has to return it. But we don't actually get much of that because the story is interrupted by Deathstroke. And the back half of this book is mainly a fight with Deathstroke, but it's a really messy one. The fight seems to just kind of teleport everywhere in the story. We're not given a good sense of place throughout this fight. We have some cool moments, like when Damian makes his appearance. Just very kind of cool panel there. But that immediately leads into this page, which just makes no sense. I don't understand what Damian is doing here. He has his foot, like, kicking Deathstroke. His arms are doing something. His face is being covered by the hood. It's just a really bad panel, and the rest of the fight kind of takes more cues from that than anything else. So in the next page, the fight really does just seem to teleport back and forth throughout the... Suddenly we're in a red part, like we fall down into the booby-trapped area of the tomb. It's just a really messy fight that takes up over half the book. And it's ended in a way that's not completely out there for Deathstroke. It's kind of a callback to a previous storyline with Deathstroke and Batman, which is kind of cool. but it still feels too quick. It feels a little undeserved, and this book overall is feeling more and more formulaic as we get into these later issues. Um, I really did like the last issue. I am liking the general storyline of Robin having to redeem himself for the Year of Blood and all that. But the actual issues are formulaic. Um, and there's a little ripple in each one to make them a little different. But yeah, it's pretty much the same story every issue. Um, Progress is slow in terms of character development and all that. It's just, yeah, if you don't change up the formula here, it's not going to be worth picking up every issue. So, yeah, that is Robin. Next up, we have Superman Wonder Woman, issue 40, but not 40, 21, sorry. And, yeah, again, this issue kind of falls apart, not as strong as the previous issue. I mean, it was never gonna top the previous issue because the previous issue had Superman meeting Obama, which is still brilliant. But this just kind of falls apart. We start with what's his name? Firestar. What's his name? With Firestorm getting kind of captured by the shadow monsters from all of these Superman stories now. But that doesn't go anywhere in the story. We then find out what Wonder Woman is doing. At the end of the last issue, she was interrogating Superman's kidnapped friends in order to convince the government that they are harmless. And that's played off as kind of a twist. And then Superman literally breaks through a wall. Superman's just like, Superman's here now. And there's a fight involving more shadow creatures and stuff that's not really well done. Yeah, it's just kind of a mess of a book. It seems like they're trying to move this storyline along. Like they're almost lagging behind the other Superman books, it feels. And so now they're playing catch up. And it's just messy. It feels rushed. Things just kind of happen. There's an emotional side to the story that works. With Superman feeling betrayed by both Lois and Wonder Woman. And that part works pretty well with him, thinking, okay, now both of these characters who I really trusted have gone behind my back. And now Superman needs some alone time. But and while I think that part's done well, and you have that, the Superman Wonder Woman relationship actually being explored in a more meaningful way, that doesn't tie in with the rest of the plot. So this book feels too cobbled together from parts that they just realize that they realized they needed to get in order to advance the story. So it feels a bit too loose. All in all, maybe next issue will be better. Maybe this is just the catch-up issue, and next issue everything will kind of even itself out again. But this issue was a very weak point in this story, sad to say. Same kind of goes for Wonder Woman issue 44. Another just really janky book, plot-wise and pacing-wise. Last issue, Wonder Woman was shot with the Golden Arrow. And in this issue, she's completely fine. She just hops up, pulls the arrow out of her, throws it into the water, and this seems to be a mysterious thing, but it's solved in a really kind of unfulfilling way later on in this same issue. And she's better. She literally says next few pages here. As soon as the arrow came out, the wound healed really quickly. So that really goes nowhere. More going nowhere, we have a really brief and confusing flashback from the villain. So a few months earlier, and we get the villains having a streak of really bad luck. In a panel that raises way too many questions, he brings up Arkham Knight, the Batman game, and like it's a shameless plug for the video game, yes, but it also brings up way too many fucking questions. Um, just one off the top of my head. If there is a Batman video game and it is the same one as the Batman video game we have in real life, does that mean everybody knows Batman's secret identity is Bruce Wayne? Because in the game it's made really clear Batman is Bruce Wayne. If this is indeed the same game, wouldn't that mean that Batman's secret identity is a matter of public record? Like, it's a really dumb way to do a plug. Um, it's thoughtless. Like, and that really kind of goes for the rest of this book. It's messy. It's rushed. There's way too much exposition. Way too many words on each page. That just clog up the art and make it kind of a chore to read. Just so much exposition, so much of it unneeded. And then the book kind of ends halfway there with Diana's story and moves on to Donna's. And Donna's it's way too long. It's her being lost in London, trying to rescue someone, and the rescue goes on for too long, considering how much effect it has on the actual plot. And then the character she rescues becomes like a kind of an important character. Donna gets a costume change from the person she rescued, but she's not likable. She talks in this very stereotypical kind of Cockney British slang, and it's just annoying. This book wasn't good. This wasn't a pleasant read. I mean, I have been liking this book more and more, but it's just janky. This issue does not work on any level, really. The art's nice to look at, but that's really about it. Not too good. Fortunately, that's the streak of kind of janky books ends with Secret 6, Issue 6, the ending to this first arc. So much of this book works. We start with just the Riddler, and he's chewing the scenery. Riddler is just so melodramatic, just overacting. Like, it's not acting, it's a comic book, but he's overacting. He's chewing all the scenery. He's this huge character. In my reading voice for Riddler, he had the voice of like a Justin Roiland character. Kind of like he sounds like a Meeseeks or a Lemongrab. I'm just going to try and read one of these lines and that sort of thing. Let's see, what's a good line? Here's one. Now I have to do like a Meeseeks voice on camera. I can't do it. I'm not in the right mindset. But I'm just going to show you this panel. I took a picture of it. It says, "Oh, I have cheese, Catman. I have dirty, unpleasant cheese." And I just imagine that in like a Justin Roiland voice in my head. Like kind of screaming, you know? Man, I can't bring myself to do it on camera. I really get like I'm trying and I feel it balling up in my throat. Like, no, it's not gonna work. Yeah. I can usually slip into like Rick and Morty voices really fucking well, but I can't do it on camera for some. I don't know why I'm embarrassed to do it on camera. Yeah, we have Riddler just chewing the scenery. We have Strix, who's a complete badass. Strix is just awesome in this book. She has it's something pretty much like right out of Fist of the North Star. We have Strix writing a letter. Should I go or wait for you to Catman? And then Catman pretty much says, "You're already dead." I'm blocking the text bubble, but he says, "Nigma, she's already done it." And then we have this beautiful little sequence here of Strix taking out all of Riddler's henchmen. Just all in one page. And I love how Riddler's just fucking confused through this whole thing and like ends on a panic here. This book changes tone so deftly to go from this like really like, you know, Riddler chewing the scenery this badass Strix moment here to really tense. Catman has this is probably my favorite panel that I read so far this week. Catman saying, "I tried going straight once, it didn't take," and of course he's a bisexual character, so you have that double entendre there. Gail Simone just knocks this one out of the park with the writing. Like, all the characters have such unique voices. From, again, the overacting Riddler, completely silent Strix, kind of action, speaks with her fist Strix. Double entendre, like, just every line out of Catman is like a double entendre or put down. And this just keeps on going back and forth between Riddler and Catman, and Ralph Dibny gets in on the action too, and there's a fight between Catman and Ralph, and the issue ends with a bang. Like, I don't want to get too much into it. It's just so fun. This is such a fun read. Every character really comes alive. Everyone feels a bit larger than life. Every character has a great moment. So you have a moment, you have Riddler overacting the whole thing. You have Catman like kind of beat down Riddler. You have the Strix moment I showed. There's a really great moment with Ferdy, the ventriloquist's doll, as he has a moment with Riddler. Ralph has a good moment. Sue is so heartbreaking. Just the interactions between Ralph and Sue in this issue. And then, like I said, the issue ends with a bang. It all comes together and explodes. It's just such a fun read. Gail Simone absolutely nails this book. Pick it up. Definitely worth picking up, in my opinion. And that is it for the DC books this week. We have 2 more books left to review in the next and third part to this week's reviews. But before you go on and watch that one, I want to thank you for watching this video. Really means a lot. If you like it, please rate it. If you want to, please subscribe. I love seeing, it's vanity, but I love seeing that number go up. I like, knowing that you guys are enjoying these videos enough to subscribe and, tell me that you want them every week. And, aside from subscribing, other ways you can tell me you like the video, or, tell me you hate the video, whatever. Tell me anything. Feel free to leave them in the comments below. And we have 1 video left to go this week, but again, thank you for watching this one, and I hope you'll join me for other comic book reviews.